6:30.
We got 6:30?
Yeah?
Okay.
Are we okay down there? Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen. This is the regular meeting of the Garden City Planning Commission. It's Thursday, January 8th, 2026 at 6:30 PM. And I'd like to call this meeting to order. Our first order of business is pledge allegiance to the flag. If everyone would stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Be seated. Would the secretary take the roll call, please?
Yes, Chairperson May.
Here.
Commissioner Steenberg. Here. Commissioner Walls. Here. Commissioner King.
Here.
Commissioner Williams. Commissioner Bazzi is asked to be excused. And Commissioner Daniels.
Here.
You do have a quorum of 6 members present.
Thank you. Next, we need approval of the agenda. Need a motion?
The agenda minutes tonight is presented.
The agenda?
The agenda.
Just the agenda. Thank you. And it was seconded by?
I second.
Thank you.
Any questions on the motion? Take the roll, please.
Yes, Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Daniels.
Aye.
Commissioner King.
Aye.
Commissioner Walls.
Aye.
Commissioner Steenberg.
Aye.
Chairperson May.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next, we have approval of minutes from the regular meeting of November 13th, 2025.
I move to approve the meeting minutes from the regular meeting of November 13th, 2025.
Motion made and supported. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, take the roll, please.
Commissioner King.
Aye.
Commissioner Williams.
Aye.
Commissioner Daniels.
Aye.
Commissioner Walls.
Aye.
Commissioner Steenberg.
Aye.
Chairperson May.
Aye.
The motion carries.
Okay, next we have public comment on non-agenda items only. If someone in the audience wishes to come forward and comment on an item not on the agenda, this would be your opportunity to do so. Do I see anyone interested in coming forward? Okay, seeing no one, we'll move on to our business item. Our first item is PPZ 25-0014. This is a request for special land use and site plan approval to construct a gas station and convenience store building with a drive-through restaurant at 32300 Ford Road in the C3 General Business Zoning District. Okay, to start off, could we have the consultant's report, please?
Good evening, Commissioners, everyone. As noted, tonight we're here to consider this special land use request for a gas station with a drive-through service window. The site is located at the northeast corner of Ford Road and Hubbard Avenue and is comprised of one parcel that is approximately 2.62 acres in area. It is currently occupied by an asphalt parking lot, and there are no structures on this particular lot. As noted, the applicant would be proposing to construct a 6,139 square foot gas station convenience store building with a drive-through restaurant window along the rear, and then also having 14 fueling positions at 7 pumps in front of the convenience building along Ford Road. So the zoning ordinance permits gas stations in the C3 zoning district after it receives special land use approval. A restaurant with a drive-through window is also permitted in the C3 after receiving special land use approval. So tonight I will first be going over comments based on both the general approval standards applicable to all special land uses, then also those specific standards we have for gas stations and drive-through uses. Then we will at some point consider the comments on the actual site plan and construction documents. When it comes to special land use review, for every special land use, we consider compatibility with adjacent uses. The site itself, as mentioned, is Zone C3 Commercial Business, and all the adjacent zoning to this site is either general business on the south and east, or light industrial on the north and west. To the north of this particular lot is an adult-use marijuana grower, processor, and retailer. Now, while this site is zoned for industrial uses, the current use has a retail component, and it is visited by customers that is, which would be similar in character to a C3 commercial business. And then the properties across Ford Road to the south are retailers, and they also have frequent customer visits as they are commercial entities. And then to the west is an industrial operator, and to the east is the currently, while vacant, under redevelopment, old Metropolitan building that is being renovated into a multi-tenant commercial industrial building. We do note that there are no residential uses in close proximity to the site, which could be impacted by the proposed gas station and drive-through use. The adjacent commercial uses then generate basically the same level of activity as the proposed uses. And then given the noise and traffic level generated by the industrial users, they would not be materially impacted by any noise or traffic or other characteristics of these proposed commercial uses on that industrial. So we do believe that based on the existing uses in the area and the existing zoning, the proposed uses are compatible and similar in character and intensity with the existing. Another important factor to consider is compatibility with the master plan. The future land use map designates this subject site and the adjacent property to the east and south also as general commercial. And then property to the north and west is designated as industrial. One key aspect of within the master plan is that it specifically states that gas stations and restaurants are two of the examples of uses that are intended for the general commercial designation. We have other commercial designations in the city, such as local commercial, which are intended to provide smaller scale, even pedestrian-oriented small uses spread throughout the city. And then we have C2 community businesses, which are intended to accommodate some level of vehicular traffic. But C3 zoning is, and not only the zoning, but the master plans designation of C3 is for those lots that are larger in size along major corridors that could accommodate the characteristics of high-intensity vehicle-oriented uses, such as gas stations. So this would mean that the proposed uses would be compatible with the goals and objectives of the master plan. There are other factors that we consider in terms of special land use, public services, these new commercial uses. While the use is intense, their level of utilities necessary is not significant. They don't require megawatts of megawatts of electricity or large amount of sewer or water capacity. They are standard retail user, so there's no impact on increased demand for public utilities. And this would result in the development of a vacant parcel in the city. This has been vacant for a very long time, and as a result, we would have new commercial options for residents and visitors to the city. One thing we also do consider is the impact on traffic. The site plan proposes one new entrance-exit driveway approach on Ford Road, and Ford Road is under jurisdiction of the Michigan Department of Transportation. Then the applicant is proposing to use the existing Hubbard Avenue driveway approach as a two-way entrance-exit driveway approach. So the use of two fully functioning ingress and egress drives will actually provide customers with options for site entry and exit. Once again, Ford Road is under the jurisdiction of MDOT, and it is the major arterial road of the city. It's the road we have with the most capacity and intended to service and intended to accommodate those high-level traffic volumes. So, but we would make sure that during this review process that MDOT's review and any proposed design modifications we feel that that process will make sure that it's designed to accommodate the traffic volumes generated by the use. And as we know with previous approvals of other commercial property along Ford Road, that MDOT does undertake particular recommendations for ingress and egress widths, the driveway widths, the turning lanes in and out. So they will make sure that they evaluate this to meet their needs for traffic impact, minimize the traffic impact. Those are the general standards in regard to special land use for automobile filling stations. There are several within the zoning ordinance. The applicant has met the minimum lot area requirement. They're in compliance with minimum lot width. They're in compliance with setback, both away from residential and a setback for the canopy. It's in compliance with those things. So it's in vast majority of the compliance of the majority of the conditions for a fueling station. The one thing we do note is that we do want to make sure that there's no outside storage of any damage or junk vehicles. We want to ensure that the site is not a location in which vehicle sales will occur. So we are requesting that the applicant provide notes on the plan stating those uses will not be located on this site. And then finally, with regard to special land use, we look at the drive-through restaurant requirements. The site itself is in compliance with our minimum frontage. It is in compliance with the location of the driveway approaches and distances from intersections. In compliance with the number of stacking spaces they provide. One particular aspect that needs to be addressed with regards to the drive-through is that we technically do have a requirement that either an obscuring wall or a landscape screen be provided between the site that has a drive-through window and adjacent commercial property as well. We do note that as I just mentioned, the zoning ordinance allows for the option of evergreen screening or landscape screening. So this would be an issue along the east property line. It's the east side of this proposed site plan in front of you has a detention pond. So it could be pretty feasible to easily install landscaping along that detention pond to allow for compliance with the screening requirement. And then one other aspect is if the site were to have a ordering location, a menu station, we do require them to provide details on the sound control levels for those speakers. That details, while the location has been provided on these plans, they are, we would like the details of those speakers to make sure they have the appropriate controls. One thing I'll bring up right now as well, during the course of the evening, the applicant will be indicating that they're considering modifying this drive-through window requirement. It's approached as a standard drive-through ordering window, meaning cars pull up to an ordering station. Right now, it's proposed to the east of the building, and then they pull forward to the window and pick up what they've ordered at the site. They're considering the idea of having this as be only a pickup window in which customers would order items on an app, and then they would be scheduled to come and pick up at the window. So there would be no ordering component to this. Because of this consideration, and because of they also are considering then the need for additional landscape screening, and because of the location of certain easements on the east side, they would like to discuss removal of some of the minimum requirements for the drive-through stacking. Our zoning ordinance requires 10. The applicant can fit 6 vehicles behind the building, so it's just a matter of discussing that. As a special land use, you could modify that because this would be a different type of window. I will say that while I have seen this occur in other communities, and in theory, they have fewer stacking requirements. It really is about the operation of the particular business. And as long as they operate efficiently, then they could meet that requirement. But it's just something that the applicant wants to discuss. I just wanted to bring that up right now to make that aware. So in the end, we do believe the proposed uses will redevelop a long vacant lot and bring a level of commercial activity to the north side of Ford Road in this area. The proposed uses and site plans are the proposed uses are in substantial compliance with the approval criteria of the zoning ordinance. However, there are some issues that do remain. We would advise the Planning Commission to recommend to City Council that they grant special land use approval contingent upon the applicant obtaining site plan approval and that the applicant submitting a revised site plan that addresses the issues I've noted, including adding the 2 notes for the automobile, no junk cars on the site, no vehicle sales, the addition of screening along the east, and details on the speakers. And then also approval from MDOT for the Ford Road driveway approach. Those are the special land use issues, and I can address any questions at the appropriate time.
Would there be any questions for the consultant on this? Any questions at this time? We can hold off and have our discussion later in the meeting.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, if there's no questions, let's move on to the presentation by the applicant.
Yeah. This is Alex Sawicki,
Yes, good
right,
evening,
from
everyone.
Sheets.
My name is Alex Sawicki from Sheets, 39300 West 12 Mile Road, Farmington Hills, Michigan. Thank you for having me this evening. Thank you to staff. Thank you, Mario, for a great rundown on our special land use ask. I want to take just a couple minutes to introduce you guys to the Sheets brand. If you'll indulge me, there's a couple that are fairly close by. Have any of you been to a Sheets before?
Yes.
Yes, yes, no? All right, well, we got some takers. I'm going to get you to one. So Sheets was actually founded in 1952 in Altoona, Pennsylvania. It's about 45 minutes south of State College, if you know where that's at. And it was founded by Bob Sheets. Sheets is literally a family last name. And over 70-some years later, it is still owned and operated by the Sheets family. We're a privately held corporation. About 16 of the Sheets family members work in the business every single day. Actually, it's growing. I don't know how many it is now. I bet it's closer to 20. Some of the kids are starting to join the business. But our CEO is third generation, and they work in all sorts of various levels throughout the company. So obviously you have executive leadership, but you have them all throughout. The director of the team that I work on is a member of the Sheets family, so I can personally attest they're very involved. As Mario pointed out, we're also a restaurant. That's actually how we first started. For the first 25 so years of our business, that's what we were. We are a restaurant convenience store. We didn't start selling fuel until right about after that 25-year mark. And that's kind of what we still hold true to this day. When you go to a Sheets store, you'll see these order kiosks that you can order your food out of our MTO kitchen. MTO stands for made to order. You actually can get 1.8 million different combinations of food out of our kitchen. It's absolutely crazy. I think there's a little too many options sometimes. You'll stand in front of our line of pop that you see, and I'm just like, I don't really know what I want today. But you can get all sorts of crazy combinations. I'm pretty lame, but you can get mozzarella sticks on your cheeseburger if you want. You know, any way you want it, we will make it. So we have the restaurant, but there's also the convenience and grocery aspect of it. So we are open 24/7, so shift workers, first responders, you know, hospital workers, whoever can, you know, come in and get food, you know, made to order however they want it, but they also can get some grocery items. So if you need to have toilet paper at 3 in the morning, I got you covered. Moving to the outside of the store, I'm sure you guys saw some of the elevations. We take great pride in what our stores look like and how they operate. So it's full section brick and stone, architectural metals, good glazing, landscaping is top notch. And a lot of that is because the family-owned atmosphere. So Sheets believes in doing a lot of things in-house. So for example, I am a Sheets employee. I'm not a consultant that works for Sheets. I actually started at Sheets as an electrician. I'm an electrician by trade. And as I moved through the ranks, they put me through school, and now I work in our engineering department. So electrician, right? What is Sheets and the electricians for? Well, we do all our own maintenance. We maintain all our equipment in the stores, we maintain our buildings, we maintain our fueling systems, anything you could think of. The landscaping, that's what I was getting at. And we have like 700 different job descriptions throughout the whole company. So if you come work at Sheets, there's a career for you. Sheets was actually, for the past 10 years in a row, has been ranked one of the top 100 companies to work for in the country by Fortune. Fortune does the Fortune 500. They also do the 100 best to work for. 10 years running, very proud of that. But anyway, to this site, as Mario indicated, it's at the corner of Ford and Hubbard. It is 2.62 developed acres. We are putting in that 6,139 square foot restaurant convenience store, and we'd like to do a mobile pickup lane, which we can talk about in a second. Actually, we'll just talk about it now. So the couple things that Mario indicated that we still need to comply with on the special land use, two of them were adding notes about, pardon me here. Mario, can you help me with what those notes were?
Yes, those notes are regard to the drive-through, the fuel station requirement, that there's no vehicle sales on site, and that there are no
Outdoor
junk or
storage.
inoperable vehicles on site.
Yeah, so we will not be doing either of those. Not a car salesman, so I'm not going to be selling cars in the lot. And we're also not a repair shop, so we're not going to have inoperable vehicles on our lot. So those take care of those two. And then the last two that there'd probably be some questions about are in regards to the drive-through. So I want to talk a little bit about what a Sheetz drive-through is, and then what I would like to do instead. So a Sheetz drive-through, it's really a convenience lane is kind of what we refer to it. But that doesn't appear in your ordinance or in many cities' ordinances. It's really there as a convenience. That's why we call it a convenience lane. Sheetz is kind of the ultimate one-stop shop. We're there whenever you need us for whatever you need us for. And that's just a good way to have customers be able to get something without having to come in the store. If someone has a van full of kids or their dogs in their car or whatever it is, they can order something and then it can pull around. It's something that is a really small portion of our business. At our busiest hour, which is around lunchtime at noon, a typical Sheetz drive-through would only see about 12 cars an hour. In comparison to like your favorite burger joint, that's going to see 60 to 80 cars an hour during lunchtime. Big difference. So that's what we were doing. Now what we want to do is go to a mobile pickup lane where instead of being able to order at the kiosk on site, it's only via the app. We ran a market study on this concept in our Columbus, Ohio market, and the results were so fantastic that we're running it out company-wide. We did have a slight reduction in traffic, but our wait times were actually reduced by 50%. It was already a really quick wait time, and now it's cut in half. You're only spending just a couple minutes in the lane because you already ordered, you already paid. We're basically just handing you your food out the window, and that's what we'd like to do instead. With that, any questions? I'm here to answer.
Okay, for your drive-through lane, this would be for food and store products?
Yes, you cannot get cigarettes or alcohol, but you can get anything else.
Anything else?
Yep.
Okay. And you wouldn't have a speaker on site
No,
to order from? You would only do it through your app?
correct.
Okay.
How many stores do you currently have in Michigan, and what do you propose?
In the state of Michigan, we are currently operating 4 locations. We just opened our 4th on December 30th. How many we'll have throughout the entire state, we're not quite certain, but we're proposing 50 to 60 just in the southeast portion.
Okay.
Without the ordering kiosk in the drive shown, is that going to change your site plan then?
We would like to, yes. I'll show them and I'll turn it around for all of you. So this portion right here that allows for the additional stacking, I would just like to eliminate it. Basically curve it off on both ends, it would be grass, additional landscaping, and you'll just have along the back of the building. So I just
So how many cars would that allow you to stack if you eliminated that part?
6.
6?
So everyone, currently our drive-through wraps around like this and then around the back of our building. We propose to eliminate this section because we're eliminating the drive-through as we currently operate it today. If that makes sense.
Okay.
So on the drawing showing, you only show 5 cars stacking currently behind it. You plan on squeezing a 6th one in there somewhere?
Yeah, there's plenty of space.
So to our current ordinance, it should be 4 short on stacking.
Correct. This doesn't exactly fall into your ordinance, however, which is kind of the question we're asking this evening. It's
Still-
not really a drive-through.
It's still a drive-through.
Okay,
If you're driving a car through it, it's a drive-through.
okay.
So the other question is, are you willing to leave this here?
If that's how you interpret the ordinance, yes.
Had a,
Further discussion later on that?
Yeah, I said.
had a question for
Yes.
Mario. When I was reading about the stacking, it says for 10 car stacks per window, but there's 2 windows on the north side. So I'm a little confused why it's not 20 versus 10.
Usually, while it does say window, it's always been utilized and interpreted as a drive-through lane.
Okay.
Because it's a configuration. When they do tend try and change it to a dual, even when they change it to a dual lane, then there's 1 window. So that's how it's been applied. Although, once again, this is a special land use requirement, so if you feel like in order to meet the traffic impact or the site circulation criteria and the intent of making this function effectively, you could require them to have more to shift that direction.
Are both these windows gonna actually hang food out of them, or is one a window and one
So this is a very new concept for Sheetz. Like I said, we're just starting to roll it out. It's probably only going to really have 1 window. Currently, how we would operate a drive-through, 1 is payment and 1 is pickup. It'll probably just be one of them uses pickup and the other won't be used, but we're not quite sure yet.
And if I'm just to also remind the commission, as a special land use, you can impose specific criteria. So if you make a determination that the only way it could, let's say, one interpretation would be to make sure the site functions adequately, you'd only want to have product through 1 window. That could be a condition of your special land use approval.
Who do you see as your largest competitor currently?
Depends on the market, honestly. There are lots of national brands that are similar to Sheetz. You could think about Wawa or Buc-ee's or Quick Trip, both the Quick Trips. But there are also, a multitude of other ones, all your BPs and Marathons, and then also the restaurant ones, a Burger King, a Subway, a Chick-fil-A, because we are a restaurant. Just depends on the market.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, do we have any other questions on the presentation at this point?
Thank
Do
you,
you have
everyone.
anything else you wanted to?
Nope, appreciate your time. See you in a
Thank you.
couple minutes.
Okay, next we'll move on to opening the public hearing. So at this time, I'll open the public hearing and invite members of the public to come to the microphone when recognized to comment on the proposal. Please fill out the information sheet and introduce yourself by telling us your name, street name, and the city in which you live. This is only your time to make a comment, not to receive a response from members of the Planning Commission or have a conversation with other members of the audience. Your comments will be limited to 3 minutes. So does anyone wish to come forward and comment on this proposal?
Mr. Chair.
Pardon me?
I did, some members of the audience did sign in, so I do have 4 that have signed in, and if you would like me to call their name and see if they'd like to come up, the 4 that have signed in, and then we could go to open it up after that.
Okay, we can do that.
All right, thank you. The first to sign in was Daniel McCausland.
Good evening, Commission. My name is Daniel McCausland. I'm from 2011 Lots Road, Canton, Michigan. I'd like to speak about the site tonight. That site has a lot of memories for me. I started my career at Stu Evans Lincoln Mercury. And I'd like to tell you about that site. That was once the most prestigious site in this area. We were a prestigious Lincoln dealer. And I started there, and you weren't just hired there, you were chosen to work there. And every day, the owner or the general manager stood at the time clock, and when you walked in the door, you better have your uniform on, you better be ready to work, you better have your shoes right, and you better not be all slouched around, because it was a prestigious place. I was fortunate enough to have a relationship with the Evans beyond my life at working at the dealership, working with them up until the point where it became Metropolitan Lincoln Mercury. What I see here, I still travel a lot. What I see these guys bring to the table is that prestige. They build a beautiful place. It's impeccably maintained. They're all the same no matter where you go. I travel to the new ones, I travel to the old ones. But for this city, it's what I came here tonight to say, that I think it could restore that prestige. Because when you drive by that dilapidated Lincoln store, it breaks my heart. See the windows knocked out, and it's in a disarray of shambles. Now, I was just in Warren the other night and saw the new one. The new sheets, and it's beautiful. I was just at the one at Route 2 in Ohio last week, and I'll be there Saturday morning because now it's on my route that I travel quite often. I travel a lot with my wife, so it's a safe harbor we can pull into. I travel by myself a lot. It's a safe harbor I can pull into. I just think you can't go wrong. It's the future. I don't like it to be called a gas station. It's got that negative tone, gas station. It's a fuel center. It's just like a modern day fuel center. But I think you'd be doing yourself a disservice not to bring that prestige back to that dealership. No matter what the dealership becomes, this is going to lift it up. And I think that's what I'd like to leave you with. Just to think, what else could when you go around and look at the facilities that they produce.
This is the end of the 3-minute comment.
Okay, thank
period. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And Craig Kabilka, maybe? Thank you.
My name's Craig Kabilka. I live in Inkster now, but I grew up in Garden City before Kmart, Taco Bell, anything. I did construction my whole life. This is the perfect site plan, designed by guys that do it everywhere. I've put these things, not theirs, but I've done work. And I think it's a great process. I think it's a great plan. I think it fits in that area in Garden City. And I don't know if you've never been to one. I don't know if you've ever been to a truck stop or anything. This is a mini truck stop. You can get probably anything you need in this place by going in there. Okay? Anything you need at your house, an emergency, anything you need, anything, it's there. And I got nothing to do with them guys, you know what I mean? I'm here because I live on the road, and this is the new thing. You can invite it in your city and accept it. It's going to bring business. It's going to bring business. I've watched these, like I say, I got nothing to do with them, but I've watched them grow as I travel. And they're, in my opinion, a good corporation. They're community-orientated. They'll do whatever you want them to do. Tell them they'll do anything you want them to do it. And they're on the ball, and they keep their stuff up. And I've seen it over and over and over. And I don't see any houses. I don't see anything there. It's, to me, it looks like on the site plan and the buildings around it, that it's in a perfect niche. And I'm old. I've been here, and I travel. And to me, I love these. Okay? And that's all I can say.
Thank you, sir.
And the next to sign in was Mark Randazzo.
Good evening. My name is Mark Randazzo. I live at 30215 Hennepin, right here in our fair city of Garden City. Commissioners, I would like to register my approval to locate the Sheets right here in Garden City. I believe it would be a good addition. Not only would it make good use of an empty piece of property, I also believe it would bring in some businesses from our surrounding neighbors. And it also helps support our local establishments. It could only be a good thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And then the last to sign in was Scott Glaza.
Good afternoon, thank you. My name's Scott Glaza. I live on Elmwood, just north of the site, about a quarter mile or so. I'm just concerned with the uptick in traffic through the neighborhood, because sometimes when you try to pull out on Ford Road, especially pulling out left to go eastbound, you know, it's a big line. There's already a line from the House of Dank, that's right there. I'm concerned that people are going to start coming up north through the neighborhood, turning on Block, turning on Elmwood, and we already get traffic from people who cut through on Elmwood all the way down to Benoit, and a lot of them don't adhere to the speed limit, and that's my big concern. It's just the uptick in traffic and to the area where we have kids. You know, we have 2 gas stations, one across the street and one down the street a quarter mile. So I know it's a vacant lot, and it's been a vacant lot for about 10 years, but, you know, I guess if you got to put another gas station there, I would like to see somehow keep the traffic from coming north out of that business and getting into the neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And that was all that had signed in. So if you want to do a general call, Mr. Chair.
Anyone else who wishes to come forward? Yes, ma'am.
My name is Linda Skoroff, and I'm totally against it. Why? Because I live in that neighborhood. And to come out of Hubbard and to make a left turn onto Ford Road to go east, it's already hard enough without having some kind of a business right there that's going to either bring more traffic or stop traffic, whatever. If you're going to come out of Hubbard and make a right turn to go west on Ford Road, that's not a problem unless you're behind all these cars that want to turn left. Also, I am concerned about, and I didn't hear everything because my ears are kind of clogged up, but will semis be in there as far as getting fuel and everything else? Because if so, that's a problem. There's going to be issues with traffic going down Hubbard. It's already used sometimes as a speedway all the way from Warren to Ford Road. And yes, it's not supposed to be speeding, but people do it. And I just think that Garden City does not need another gas station and stuff like this, not in the middle of, we're not on a corner. You're not going to get the north-south traffic off of Merriman, Middle Belt, even Wayne Road. So I'm not sure what kind of traffic they expect to get in the middle of, between 2 different main roads, which would be Merriman and Wayne. Vinoy is kind of a main road, but not like Wayne and Merriman. And I just don't feel that that area needs this type of establishment.
Thank you. Is anyone else interested in coming up? Yes, sir.
Glenn Kozlakevich, 30431 John Hawk. I just want to know, is just confirm that this is just the open land, it doesn't include the building there, the Metropolitan Building? It's just the land, and that the building's going to still remain there, vacant for however many more years or something? Yep.
Does anyone else wish to come up to speak? Yes.
Mike Hagan on Back Street. After this came about, my son and I went and visited the one at 96 or 94 Middle Belt, and kind of blown away by the scale of it. Say that every employee there took very good care of the place. It's pouring down rain. They were out there picking up trash out of the parking lot still. The way the drive-through works through the back of the building was really well done. So I don't know about how worried about the stacking. I don't like the whole app only because I think it encourages the more texting and driving, if you will. Have no order from an app as you go. But to nitpick on the one window, and any business that goes there is going to create more traffic. It was a bustling dealership. It had traffic then. The community around there has just gotten used to it not having the traffic. But anything that justifies that space is going to create more traffic. So it is what it is. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else wish to come forward? Yes, ma'am.
Kelly Bailey, I live on Gulfview. I'm welcoming Sheetz. I think it'll be nice to have a nice, solid corporate tax-based business in our community, and I feel every time I've seen them, I haven't been in one yet personally, but I think that everything I've heard and seen, they seem to be doing everything to work and fit into our community, and so I think we could use a good, solid tax base around here for a change, instead of some of the quick fly-by-night businesses that pop up and go.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone else wish to come forward? Oh, yes, sir.
Hello, Zachary Witt. I live on Maplewood Street, Garden City, Michigan. I am speaking tonight as a resident of the city and not as my position with the city. Growing up, I lived right off of Ford Road, right across from the old Stu Evans Mercury dealership. So my entire life growing up, I've lived in Garden City my entire 26, almost 27 years of my life. Leaving in the morning, going to school, the school buses drove past a dilapidated building every year past 2011. So as a resident, as somebody invested in this community, as I have been my entire life, I'm very open to having that property finally redeveloped. We have the broken lots set up. Then now we have the used car dealership there, right where the building used to be. And thank you for the gentleman coming up who used to work for Stu Evans, talking as elegantly as he did of the building when it was working. We have that building being revamped and going to be parceled out to different businesses coming soon, as well as now a potential for, I hate using the word gas station because it's not a gas station, but having something so nice on that property to finally fill space. I'm somebody who's traveled. I've gone through every state from here to Florida driving. I've stopped at every single competitor that was listed off by the engineer gentleman here. Nothing compares to what a Sheetz can do. The food's hot and fresh. I stopped at the one at Middle Belt and 94 often when I was driving around for work. By the time I left that to get to my house on Maplewood over here, the food was still hot and fresh. Definitely, you know, if you need to get some soda, any sorts of snacks, anything like that, everything is taken care of inside of that convenience store that they have. Everything is great. Speaking, I've looked a lot on YouTube or on Facebook and watched and looked at all the comments of, you know, all of the residents and non-residents that have added their voices into this particular proposal. I'm happy that we get people that put their input in like this, being able to see it for my capacity for the city and outside as a resident, being able to see everyone kind of have their different opinions in this state. Again, just seeing all of that and seeing, you know, a lot of people for, a lot of people against, seeing how willing they are to work with stipulations that potentially could arise through this process. And especially I thank you, Mario, for working very closely with them, as well as, you know, the commission here. I thank you for all your time looking into all of this. I am particularly for it because Sheets is a great investment area. You know, when it comes to people driving up and down the streets, like some other residents have brought up as an issue that could potentially arise, I'm going to be honest, streets are streets. They're meant to be driven on. Granted, nobody should be speeding. I follow the speed limit laws as they're written and everything like that. So you get a couple bad apples here and there, but I think this development of this property would actually be a great fit in that area, get some more potential people stopping on the busiest traveled road in the state of Michigan, being able to stop in our city. You know, we used to have it a long time ago when we had, you know, the first Super Kmart, the first sit-down McDonald's, the first Little Caesars to ever have a brick and mortar store. You know, there's a lot of stuff in Garden City that has the firsts that had eye appeal that most of them are now gone. It would be so nice to have something where people are willing to come, stop in our city, and hopefully at this point help develop more of the personal structure around the houses, getting more families moving back in. Because we do have a very larger, older resident base in our city. I think this helps bring that development and helps bring other, you know, businesses to come in and start filling other businesses because of the amount of employees it'll bring in, those people wanting to buy houses near where they work. So, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Does anyone else wish to come forward to make a comment? Yes, sir.
Hello, my name is Jason Hamadi. Just want to let you guys know, not only have I lived in Garden City for a majority of my life, I've worked in the Garden City and Westland area. I feel like this is gonna hurt many small businesses in the area that do serve in the community, that do pump their money back into the community, that help out local charities, local businesses, that do support local teams. I see that this big corporation won't do the same. Not only will it hurt multiple small businesses, it will create a lot of traffic jams on Ford Road. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone else wish to come forward and speak? Yes, sir.
How you doing? My name is Tyler Rich. I definitely
Could you
think...
tell us, identify yourself and tell us where you live?
My name is Tyler Rich, 5713 Lathers. Not only have I lived in Garden City, I graduated from Garden City High School as well. Now, being someone who's also lived and traveled many states, I definitely take a liking to fuel stations that have the convenience store and hot food aspect also. I believe this would be a great one. I do like that they added the multiple driveway entrances. I do like that there won't be a speaker component, so you don't have to worry about that noise. And I do have a few things to say that I don't particularly like. Again, with what everyone is saying about the traffic, so I don't know what a possible solution would even look like. I don't know, other than literally doing something to the road, like making a roundabout or something. Like, I don't see anything that would help that traffic flow better. Sorry. Goodness, forgot my second point. But another point that I did see a lot of people saying online that I totally don't agree with is people proposing the idea that somehow this business would bring more crime to the area. I think that makes no sense. I don't know what type of crimes would be committed at, gas stations. Would make that the perfect place to do it, but I'm against that. But all in all, I think this is a great idea. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to come forward to make a comment on this application? I'll ask one more time. Is there anyone else that wishes to come forward to speak? Seeing no one, then, we'll close the public hearing. But first, do we have any written communications?
Yes, Chairperson. I did want to let you know that we did receive a number of written communications via email to the city. And I kind of classified them maybe. There were a total of 14 total that were sent to our website regarding that. And I kind of classified them in 3 ways. There were mostly a couple lines stating what they felt about the proposed use. 7 were concerned about an overconcentration of gas stations in the city. In general, that was the feeling I had from all of those. And then we did receive 4 that were against this, just based solely on that they felt it was unfair competition to have another gas station in the community. And then the third was, there were 3 that were concerned about traffic, specifically regarding mostly just the Ford Road access, and to make sure that it met all of the requirements for the MDOT, of course, MDOT rules and regulations, and also the Michigan Manual of Uniform Traffic Control Devices about connections and driveways into the site. But there were 3 that were concerned about that. One was from adjacent business, and he did come in and also did review all of these plans with me, and he did write in just, again, his concern is House of Dankus increase the traffic, and then he's concerned about this also. So a total of 14.
Okay, thank you. Moving on, then, we'll close the public hearing and open it to Planning Commission discussion and recommendations. So, opening it to Commission. Yes.
I have a couple concerns. I am also concerned with the traffic from Hubbard to Ford Road headed east. I don't know if we request MDOT to do a traffic survey to possibly see if we can put a light there. If you look at the distance between Vinoy and Hubbard, the center of the roads are about 1,300 feet. From Middlebelt to Birch Lawn, in the downtown, it's about 700 feet. There's another light. That might be an option to help with traffic, especially turning east onto Ford Road. Or maybe even possibly a no left-hand turn sign if you can't get a traffic light. I know that people brought up about rig parking. If we look at the plot plan here, there's nowhere for a rig to park on here overnight. The site isn't like some of the sheets that have that available, so I don't think that'll be a problem. The only other thing I'm concerned about is the stacking. I would like to see this stay just for, if nothing else, an overflow. I mean, all he's talking about is turning into grass anyway. I'm concerned if we don't, then this could get blocked, or we could have this where people can't back out. So.
Yeah, we don't want traffic backing up to where it creates a hazard in another area.
That's, I'm saying, if we turn this into grass here and get rid of this stacking lane, then they'll be stacking here, which will prevent people from backing out. So, other than that, I would love to see the lot developed. It's been a long time. Like I said, I'm only concerned for the traffic.
Okay. Any other comments, questions from the commission?
Maybe, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No.
Could Mr. Ortega maybe comment on the MDOT? I like the idea of at least seeing if MDOT would consider a light. Is that an application process or a study request?
Is there a request the city could put in?
Engineer. Maybe Becky could answer that.
Yeah, I was about to say, I was going to defer to the city engineer from Hennessy about that, but the applicant has an engineer that also works, familiar with MDOT policies and procedures. They might have more information regarding that.
Yeah, that's exactly what we just were talking about. I'm going to have Becky Klein come up from PEA Group. She's been leading our coordination with MDOT. We've already been discussing with them, and she'll be able to tell you about those conversations.
Good evening. My name is Becky Klein. I'm with PEA Group, 58105 Van Dyke, Washington Township, Michigan. And as Alex said, I'm the civil engineer for this project. We have not got a permit yet from MDOT, but we did do preliminary coordination with them because, of course, we know that there's always great concern about adding or changing curb cuts on a busy MDOT road like Ford. So we provided them with a preliminary copy of our layout and had some discussions with them. And the result of that is that they are willing to support this curb cut, but what they want us to do is provide a cross-access easement for the portion of the property that is remaining after our parcel gets split off. That way, when that parcel gets redeveloped, rather than adding more curb cuts down the road, they can share the one we've already created. So in terms of the geometry and markings, of course, everything will conform to MDOT standards, and we'll have all the required signage, striping, and everything in conformance with the Michigan Manual of Uniform Traffic Control Devices. MDOT did not express any concerns regarding our turning movements. If they had some, they definitely are upfront about saying, we want you to limit right or left turning movements out of a curb cut. They did not ask us to do that in this case. So their initial review indicates that they don't feel this is going to create such a huge impact on Ford Road that those kinds of restrictions would be necessary. We certainly could provide a traffic study for this project if that's a great concern for the city, so that you could see for yourself what an engineer analysis demonstrates in terms of additional load that is expected to be created on the roads from this property.
One other aspect I'll just point out too is within the site plan, they have provided access lanes that go east-west on the south side of the property near Ford Road, and then on the north side of the property. So basically, in effect, creating an east-west lane across the property. You know, in theory, they could restrict that and have put the curbs there. But in this way, it gives the option for, in the future, the future development adjacent to the east, they can continue those drive-through lanes on the east and into that site to minimize traffic impact onto Ford Road and allow for alternatives. That's something we don't normally get in the city, to be honest, because through the majority of our properties along Ford Road, their depth from Ford Road is very limited. You know, we only go back about 200 feet. So if we're lucky sometimes, except for downtown. Downtown we have it, but you know, here we're trying to be more pedestrian oriented. But in this case, it would give further options for visitors to this site and then visitors to adjacent property to the east. And so as a planning commission, you could require that be maintained in the future.
Well, since you brought up those lanes, I wanted to ask you about that because we're requiring in the site plan screening that would seemingly cut off those lanes, and these lanes appear to connect with the property next door.
So the screening requirement, I believe, would be, you know, the intent of it is to minimize the high level of activity associated with the drive-through lane from adjacent properties. So in theory, if there was a smaller scale retail activity adjacent to a drive-through property, then the screening would minimize that. My recommendation when we get into site plan issues and for screening would be to provide additional screening within the curbed detention pond area and not have it a continuously opaque screen along the entirety of the property line.
So you wouldn't screen off those two drive lanes?
No.
Leave a lane open.
Yeah, because and once again, as a special land use, we have to consider that this is a dual use. We have to consider the intent of the screening, but we also have to consider the traffic impact that would do. So if we put screening along the entire property line, that would cut it off and limit traffic options, alternatives, excuse me. This way, you could have your screening along the detention pond and also enhance the detention pond, but leaving the access lanes would allow for that to mitigate the traffic concerns to a limited degree, but to some, not a perfect solution, but it's something.
Do you know the distance between the proposed property line and the existing Metropolitan building?
I can find out for you.
While Mario's looking that up,
I'm just curious on the distance because right now these lanes may work, but if another building is developed on that site, then these lanes could be cut off, not work. So everything we're saying is great, could be in the future not necessarily so great. And we're not asking you per se to limit your right or left turns out of, on the Ford Road. We're concerned about the side street Hubbard.
Gotcha.
We're not concerned about your curb cut so much, it's the Hubbard Street that attaches to Ford Road.
I will say, with regards to future development on the adjacent property, the alternative, if a building were to be located, as the planning commission, you can require that developer move their lane, or at least have some kind of configuration that leads into that. While there might be, best case scenario would be to continue it in a straight direction, there's still the alternative to at least have a curb cut access into these lanes. So while it might not be a straight shot, there's still the option to include that access. And because that is something that is done in a lot of communities, and they require it for this very reason, to minimize the traffic volume offloaded onto Ford, but also to give customers to both pieces of property alternatives, so they can go in other directions. And I can tell you, at least, and a couple other things, right, I was going to say, the current property owner of the Metropolitan dealership is redeveloping the building. At this point in time, I don't know their intent for the rest of the site, but I would say that any development, any uses that are going to go into the Metropolitan building, when that building is finally redeveloped, or completed, I should say, they're going to need parking requirements, so they're going to need a pretty good amount of that parking that's already existing to remain, to accommodate the uses going in there. So the idea of a large building cutting off those lanes, at least at this point in time, would be pretty minimal. And the distance is about 215 feet between the east property line of the Sheets and the existing curb cut in front of, to the west of the Metropolitan building, 215.
And there is a bunch of parking behind the current Metropolitan, correct?
That is true, yeah, that's an option, so you're absolutely right. That could be an option that might develop.
It goes quite far back.
Yeah, that's one of the largest lots in the city, so.
so I would think with those two cuts into the adjacent lot, I would probably say for that, I would definitely want the additional stacking for future drive-through and the flow of traffic to prevent any kind of jamming that it might cause when those two might be working together with their customers, so.
Yeah. I don't know how beneficial their plan is going to be for them as far as ordering online, but I can see that it would cause people to use their phone while they're driving to make an order and create distracted drivers. So it doesn't, the idea doesn't excite me, but I can understand how it might benefit you.
So I have a question for Sheets there. So as far as the order online, are you only going to accept ordering online only? You won't have a kiosk so nobody can come through that drive-through at all and order at the
Correct. Correct.
Given that this is a special land use, and we don't know in 20 years what this might be, I'd probably still say, obviously, stick with the screening, keep with the stacking there for future land use and tenants that might be in there. And then that would allow for future area for it to be used. So it grows with time, or is there for the future, so.
Well, we could allow the online ordering and still require that part of the drive to be maintained
for stacking.
for future stacking if necessary. You know, is,
To make it easier on you guys, we're okay with that. We can leave it there.
you can leave it there?
Yeah. My only question will be for the screening that will be required if we can use dense landscaping like the planner mentioned.
I think landscaping on the side of the bioswale would be adequate. I don't think you need a wall over there. Does everybody agree with that?
I would be good with that as well.
And then leaving those two driveways clear.
I don't think House
Right.
Bank wants that blockage anyways. They probably want, because that's not houses back there.
No,
Yeah, so they probably want to still be seen from Ford Road as well as much as possible, so.
yeah, no, I think that'll work out just fine. Any other
Yeah, I got a
issues?
couple of things.
Okay.
A city dies when companies no longer want to come and invest their money in those cities. And it concerns me that we've lost a bank, we've lost a major department store, a number of other things, Napa Auto Parts, Larry's Auto Parts, and there's all different reasons for this. But when I see a corporation that wants to come and invest a great deal of money in my city, I see that as a plus plus. These figures I'm going to cite are a couple of years old, so they may be a little different, but they're approximate and they're close enough for this example. Garden City is what they call a bed and bedroom community. It's 11,400 houses. That constitutes about 92% of our tax base. So we only have about 8% of our tax base coming from commercial and industrial operations. That means everybody that lives in Garden City, we're footing the majority of the tax bill. I invite anybody to come in and share that responsibility with me. I have no problem with that. We've talked a lot about ingress and egress and traffic situations. I don't know if you guys are aware, but this Lincoln Mercury dealer was the largest Lincoln Mercury dealer in the United States of America, and it was that way for a long time. Now that building's been closed for close to 20 years. If it could support all this traffic back when it was the largest Lincoln Mercury dealer in the United States of America, I don't see why it can't do the same thing in 2026. Also, I come to understand, is it 56 employees is the approximate number?
30 to 35,
35.
preferably all full-time.
So about 35 new jobs that are based in Garden City, which can help in many different ways. I see this, the applicant stated that it's listed in the Forbes top 100 companies. That doesn't sound like a sloppy operation to me if they made it to the Forbes 100. And, you know, all this put together sounds like a plus plus. I drive past there every day and see a whole great big giant stretch of blacktop with nothing on it. I got to kind of think to myself that whoever owns that property would love to be able to sell it and make a profit on his investment that he's been sitting on, or she, for close to the last 2 decades. And so far as the traffic, the nearest house is like 2.5 blocks away. No, well, from what I understand, I lived right around the corner from there, so the nearest house isn't next door, suffice it to say. If I wanted to get out of Hubbard, and I grew up on Cadillac and Maplewood, just a few blocks away from there, going out on Hubbard to Ford Road for as long as I can remember, and I've lived in the city for 50 years, it's always been difficult to turn left onto Ford Road. It's one of the busiest roads in the state of Michigan. So what I would do, I would cut over to Vinoy, where there's a traffic light, and I could easily make a safe left-hand turn any time of the day or night. So there's been a lot of talk about the traffic. I've been on Planning Commission for approximately 33 years. I fully trust MDOT to review this, and if they see a problem with the ingress and the egress, they will bring it to our attention and it'll be addressed accordingly. So I look forward to this. I think it's a great project, and I look forward to the investment in Garden City and a little bit of help with the tax base. That's it.
Okay, I agree. I think it's an excellent opportunity for the city. I know we've been discussing a few details, but these, I believe, are minor details in the overall picture. And I would like to see this workable. I think the small problems that we've been talking about can be worked out. And with the few contingent items that are listed on Mr. Ortega's report, I think by making those contingent on approval, I think we should approve or recommend approval for the special land use. So unless somebody else has a question or a comment, I'd entertain a motion.
I wanted to just say one thing.
Yes.
I work nights on and off at the airport, and there's not a lot of 24-hour shops now after COVID. So coming home at 3 in the morning, sometimes it's nice to have something to go to. I can pick up something, not make noise in the kitchen, wake up my fiance and get shot. So yeah.
Yeah.
Just wanted to bring that up. There's other people in the community that work nights, so this would be a benefit to them.
We used to have Myers, it was 24 hours, and since COVID, that changed to midnight, and I worked afternoons for about 35 years, so I really appreciated the fact that you could go and get something very late at night.
Okay, yes.
So just maybe a comment for the residents who maybe don't always participate in a planning commission meeting. So this is a two-part proposal, right? The first part being the special land use, the second part being the site plan, which we'll get to. But I will move to recommend to City Council approval of special land use at 32300 Ford Road in the C3 General Zoning District with the conditions noted in Mr. Ortega's letter. And maybe I'll highlight a couple of these due to the comments that have taken place. One, we will have to get site plan approval, our next agenda item. Two, I think the automobile filling station notes the applicant has said that they will address. The screening along the east side of the property, which we discussed, and I think we'll probably discuss again in the site plan. And the applicant has already addressed the speakers proposed, that there won't be speakers. But item number 3 is where it references the approval of MDOT, which I know some residents noted traffic concerns. And then number 4 is about getting the civil site plans for construction approved by the city engineer and the fire marshal. That's my motion.
I'll second.
Motion's made and supported. Any comments on the motion? Would you take the roll, please?
Yes. Commissioner King.
Aye.
Commissioner Steenberg.
Aye.
Commissioner Daniels.
Aye.
Commissioner Williams. Commissioner Walls.
Aye.
Chairperson May.
Aye.
The motion does carry.
Okay, moving on to site plan review. Could we have the consultant's report, please?
So just as noted, the special land use is being recommended for approval. So going over site plan issues regarding the construction of the site. As going through, looking at the zoning ordinance, the site is in complete compliance with our setback and dimensional standards. It's been discussed and noted that the building will have full brick on all, we'll have brick on all 4 sides of the building, and also the use of stone at the foundation wall. They're also using architectural steel for the windows and the awning, so it's going to be a very attractive building. And I note that they're also utilizing the stone foundation for the pillars of the canopy. So that's a standard that is high quality. They also are in full compliance with our parking requirements within the zoning ordinance for the proposed uses. Some issues I would like to point out regarding site circulation. They have provided truck maneuvering plans showing how showing how the garbage trucks and fueling vehicles will access the site. I would like a revised version of the circulation plan for the vehicles entering off of Hubbard, mainly because the configuration on the plan right now shows Hubbard as a one-way. So the truck is on the west side of the street, so it has more space to sweep around. So it would be better to show that utilizing the appropriate lane. We've already had discussions with the applicant's engineer, and they have no problem doing that. Worst case scenario, that might cause some modifications to the turning radii for the Hubbard Avenue curbs. But beyond that, it does look like the vehicles will access appropriately from the Hubbard. In regards to the drive-through window and the circulation, as noted, there's a portion of the lane segment on the east side of the site, but then it is intended to cross the north-south traffic lane adjacent to the building and then continue on behind the building. I think the best thing for that, because it's not a unheard of configuration, but I would recommend that the applicant provide a sign on the north end of that ordering segment telling customers in the lane to do not block crossing vehicles, proceed only when space is available. So that way try and minimize vehicles blocking other cars trying to basically exit north-south.
Yeah, there should be some indication that there is crossing traffic there, too.
So, that could also lead to striping along that lane between the two, but then also significant striping. There are definitely mechanisms to do the best we can.
Signage and striping.
Yeah, exactly. Signage and striping, thank you. Mainly because I'm sure it will be new for some people when it's constructed, but then over time, people will get used to that configuration. The amount of times that'll be limited. So just have that note. Then with regards to landscaping, we've already discussed the screening issue. The landscape plan as proposed is in full compliance with our zoning ordinance and actually has some additional trees and shrubs provided. So the applicant has the option of moving some of those supplemental trees to the east side of the detention pond. I will note that there is a sewer easement along that east property line as well. So the vegetation proposed may not be directly along that east property line, but it could still be located in the detention pond ridge, the top ridge. So therefore, it would still provide screening, so it would be effective. And that would be, I recommend that be consisting of evergreen trees, starting out like 4 foot. About 5 to 6. One aspect of the zoning ordinance is that the dumpster enclosure must be constructed of masonry material. They proposed as a composite. Speaking to the applicant, they're okay with switching the dumpster to masonry. And then I had a question about the lighting plan. They noted some particular light strip fixtures. In speaking with the applicant's engineer, determined that their architectural accent lighting that goes along the cornice line of the building. So it's not going to be shining out, it'll be shining down in requirements with the zoning ordinance, and it won't cause glare. It's going to just be there to accentuate the building. So that's fine. So in the end, there are some minor issues. As I noted, the site plan has provided detailed information, and there are just a few items that must be addressed. So we would recommend that the Planning Commission grant site plan approval contingent upon the City Council granting special use approval, the applicant submitting a revised site plan addressing the notes and addressing the large vehicle circulation, revised graphics, providing a masonry dumpster enclosure, and then just to have double compliant, make sure that we have it in 2 locations, recommending the approval of the Ford Road curb cut from MDOT and the city engineer and fire marshal approval.
Any questions on the consultant's report?
One item, the dumpster enclosure will be listed as a masonry construction with the metal gates that are interlaced.
Yes, yeah, yes, as in
That'll be
compliance
part
with
of the,
ordinance.
we don't want wooden gates on the front of that. They don't seem to last very long.
Was there anything else? Any other questions?
For the circulation, so you mentioned additional, for the northbound on Hubbard, was there any plans or circulation for emergency service vehicles like a fire truck? Was that included?
Sorry, can you answer that question again for me?
Have you done any simulations or models for circulation of emergency services like a fire truck? Can it make the
We
turnaround?
have, and we'll be providing those to the city. There are no concerns that we have.
If I may, I didn't have a chance to resubmit. I did get simulation done prior to this meeting. I think we'll give you a preview of what we resubmitted in terms of the circulation form.
Look at that. Becky's on top of it.
So we have done truck turning movement for a standard fire truck, and we can get a fire truck vehicle completely around the building and back out again using either entrance to the site with no problem. So we'll include this with our resubmittal so that we'll have the.
Okay, and you were going to change the turning radius on the Hubbard?
Yeah, we have fixed the delivery vehicle turning radius as well, so that the vehicle is on the front side of
Yeah.
other coming
Okay, great.
For your lighting plan, for the footfall, so part of the ordinance is that you have to have the full cutoff lights, so there's no horizontal light coming out. But looking at the lights that you have, it looks like it doesn't have any vertical cut off on it, so it'll still have horizontal projection.
All of our lights are fully cut off.
Okay.
Is there a specific fixture that you were calling out?
It looked like
Might
it
be the
was,
flagpole.
yeah, it was the D series size 0. That, I think that's denoted along the outside strips of the canopies, not the under canopy lights, but the ones along Ford and Hubbard.
Right, eyebrow lighting. So how those work is the fascia of the canopy is concave. The lights are hidden inside a channel that runs along the top of the canopy, and they shine inward on that concave, kind of gives it a glowing effect. The lights are pointed inward.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Yes.
I just have a question on the drive-through. I personally don't care if you have an app or you let people order in real time. I think, in my opinion, that's your business. But how will you know when the customer pulls up that they're claiming their order if you don't have a speaker?
They just pull up to the window.
So they go right to the window and then, okay.
Correct, yep.
You just might have an issue, like, I agree with Commissioner Williams about having the stacking here, but you could run into an issue with people now just pulling in front of people.
Right.
You might need to figure this out, that gap, like how you solve for that.
It's a great question. Exactly why we would prefer not to have the canoe there, but we do understand the stacking requirements, and we're totally okay with that. I think it's kind of intuitive. Frankly, if there's a line in traffic, I don't think people are going to try to cut in with each other. Try to have a little bit of faith in humanity. Maybe I should.
I think
Well,
the parking lines.
I understand the idea of trying to have faith in humanity.
Optimistic.
Maybe additional signage would be helpful.
We will definitely do the signage. Yeah. Signage and striping galore.
Definitely.
Sorry.
Yeah, I think the striping would, I think, would help.
Definitely, yeah.
So.
Go ahead.
With the phone app, will you be able to do that ahead of time, or is it going to be just in time, you put your
No,
order
you
in
can-
and then drive to the window immediately?
You can do it ahead of time.
So I could do that at my house and then drive down and pick up the food.
Correct.
So I don't have to use my phone while I'm driving down Ford Road?
No, we prefer
And
you
it's
not to.
against the law anyhow, correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you.
So other places are like that,
yeah, I
like
mean,
Taco
that's-
Bell and Subway, you can order and just go through the drive-through and pick up, so
Everybody.
go in, so.
Okay. Was there anything else you wanted to
No, I
mention
was
about
just
the
answering
site
your
plan?
questions. Yep. I guess we can go through the things real quick. Becky talked about the circulation. We will provide signage, landscaping. We'll leave all the extra trees that we provided. We like our place to look nice, and we want it to look nice for you, too. We are proposing the evergreen screening along the drive-through over there. We'll make a masonry dumpster enclosure. Our lighting plan is in compliance. And I think that is it.
Masonry with the metal gates, and then it gets laced with material.
Yeah, so there'll be a metal gate.
And bollards.
And yes, and it'll have a composite board placed on the front of it.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Any other questions? Questions? Or comments?
Good here.
If I may, I would just like to clarify with this board regarding the screening landscaping for the drive-through. What we would prefer to do, rather than having a straight line of trees on the east side of the pond, we would like to follow along the contour of the drive-through stacking area on the west side of the pond with the evergreens to make the screen there. So the reason for that is twofold. One is on the eastern edge of the island along the property line, that easternmost 12 feet it contains an existing sanitary main, and there's an easement over it, which means we can't plant anything in there or too near to it. And then additionally, our detention system is actually two components. The part that you can see is the bioswale pond on the surface. But we will also be using an underground detention system located below that pond, which is going to hold the actual overflow of the stormwater and then release it slowly into the municipal system. So that means I actually have a limit as to where I can plant trees so that they don't impact that underground detention system. I have extra room on that westerly side because of the contour of that drive lane. So I would like to put my screening there rather than putting it on the east side, which would mean I'd have to
If
move
I'm
my
not
pond.
mistaken, our ordinance has exception where there's underground utilities, that screening can be moved.
Yes. Absolutely, that's
So we
correct.
can- We wouldn't have a problem putting it just along the side of the
Right.
drive-through area.
Yeah, I just wanted to make you aware of the issue, and I don't want to surprise anybody with our resubmittal.
Everybody good with that?
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine with us.
I think the curve would work well. The one thing I would like to say, though, on the exit of that cutout, probably don't want a large tree, and that cutout blocking visibility for potential collisions of vehicles coming in and out.
We'll
of
make sure
that
the
space.
proper vision triangles are in place.
Yeah, since there's going to be gaps in that screen anyway with the drive-throughs, I don't think it's going to be that critical.
No, not at all.
Any other questions, comments? Do you have any other comments, sir?
No, thank you.
Okay. Well, if there's nothing else, I think we can entertain a motion.
We have number 3, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
B3. Are there any other public comments or questions?
No. Okay, any public comments or questions concerning this? Anyone wish to come forward with a question concerning the site plan? Seeing no one, we'll move on.
Thank you, Chair.
We have a motion.
You want to make it, Mike?
Go ahead.
I motion to recommend the council to approve site plan recommendation as proposed, numbers 1 and 2, A, B, C, D, 3, and 4.
Second.
Is there a second?
Yes.
Okay, any questions on the motion?
Just, if I could, I think you might have said recommend to city council. Correct me if I'm wrong, but site plan approval does not need to go to city council.
No, we approve the site plan.
That's all.
For us to approve the site plan.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. And the supporter agrees with that change, correct? Yeah, thank you.
We'll have
Eric.
support. Good with that.
All right, okay. I have the support was by Commissioner Walls.
Okay.
All right, all right.
We had both of them.
Oh, okay, all right. I just want to make sure. Thank you.
Okay, any comments or questions on the motion?
None.
Hearing none, we'll take the roll.
Yes. Commissioner Williams. Commissioner Walls.
Aye.
Commissioner Daniels.
Aye.
Commissioner King.
Aye.
Commissioner Steenberg.
Aye.
Chairperson May.
Aye.
The motion carries.
Well, your site plan has been approved. We had recommended that the special land use be approved by council. The next step would be to go before council to get that done. And I wish you a lot of luck.
Appreciate it, everyone. Thank you.
Welcome.
Glad to have you in the
Welcome.
city.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
Minute to let everybody clear out.
Then we said?
I think so, yeah. Good night.
Yeah. I'm sure the taxes will be different on 6,200 square feet gas pumps than on a piece
Than
of
on a-
blacktop.
Yeah, right.
That's right.
I got a funny feeling it'll be a little greater.
No, it won't lower it, but it sure will help.
Ours are still being the same.
Okay, let's get back to it. Next, other business and discussion items. Election of officers for 2026.
Yes.
Chairperson, vice chair, and secretary.
Yes. So I can accept a motion and a support for the nomination of a chairperson. We will do that first,
Okay,
right?
is there a nomination for chair?
Nominate you again, Brad.
I'm nominating him too.
Right. So that's supported by Commissioner Steenberg. Does the chairperson accept the nomination?
Accepts the nomination.
Thank you. Right. Then we can,
Other nominations? Hearing none. Shall we vote?
yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unelected.
Yes. Next is
Next is vice chair.
I'll nominate Commissioner Steenberg.
Second that.
Support. Any other nominations?
Do you accept the nomination?
Sure.
Thank you.
Any other nominations? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? None?
Can't
You're
vote
elected.
against myself, can I?
Secretary, are we voting for you, Matt?
Well, it has to be a member, but I will do the work for you.
Okay. You have a nomination for secretary?
I can nominate myself.
Nominate Mr. King.
Okay.
Second.
Anybody that brings a
Accept?
laptop to the meeting with all this paperwork, you'll do just fine.
Right. Okay. Are there any other nominations?
Any other nominations?
You accept the
Okay, all in
nomination?
favor of Commissioner King? Aye. Opposed? None? Congratulations.
Do I get a button?
Yeah, we'll get you one. Okay. Comments regarding planning and zoning matters. Mr. Ortega, do you want to start us off? Do you have anything?
Nothing at this time, except Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I had a question. I don't know if this is the appropriate place to bring it up, but the Precision Dental on Ford Road has that really bright LED display panel, and when I drive by it every night, it seems like it's at 100% brightness, and it's not tuned down or anything. It's kind of blinding driving by it. So I don't know if this is the place and time to bring it up, or if it's more of a go through the website and submit a
I think it's kind of an ordinance thing, but I don't know, can the information be transmitted to the ordinance officer?
I'll do so.
Miss it, but make sure, if you want to also bring it up.
Yeah, I can bring it up.
If they receive multiple indication of the issue, then they'll hopefully understand it's a concern. Because it is, I see it all the time. You get them to do it, stop.
That was it.
Anything else?
What's going on with that, the CVS furniture store building?
So the CVS has received a certificate of occupancy, and they're going under internal renovations to do is it AB or is
Yeah,
it?
it's an AB
It's an AB,
center,
so
yeah.
it's a method, it's going to be a medical facility for rehabilitation for physical and for therapy of autistic children. AB is, I believe, the method and type of
Therapy.
Basically, it's a one-on-one therapy with a autistic person or child and their therapist. And so there's actually one that was already done on our side.
Are they connected?
No, they're separate entities. And actually, there we have another one that was on Cherry Hill, east of Illinois, in the plaza with Roma Banquet.
And they're doing pretty extensive renovations.
I've noticed.
Yeah, and the company doing the renovations is really a top-notch company. They've been a pleasure to work with, so we're hoping for good things there.
What's happening with the building that had the fire? Is there anything?
It's still under investigation.
On Middle Belt, still under
On Middle
investigation.
The most recent one?
Yeah,
Yes,
the
it's still
one-
under investigation. The other fire, though, the building has been renovated, and they're just obtained the CVOs for the either white box, or some businesses have moved back into the other one. Yes, correct, yeah.
Guy just got his sentencing yesterday, I believe.
Oh, okay. All right.
And then
7.5 years.
bring it up. What about the 7-Eleven that got the car that ran
They
into
were
it?
fixing that today.
Okay, so it's still, okay.
They're
It was
just
boarded
fixing
up
it,
yesterday,
yeah.
okay.
No, they have to go get their permit, too.
Oh.
I noticed that today, too, so that's all right.
They were
I'm sure they'll do
working.
it.
Okay.
I'm all
Anything
set.
else? Okay. Mike?
I always ask, what's new coming down the pipeline? Anybody been talking to you about future developments, current developments?
Top of my head, mainly what we're doing is also making sure the previous development you've seen is acted upon, or if not.
In this,
Right across the street, the Paramount Accounting, and we're going to have their childcare facility. They are still working on their plans. We're keeping up with them, but they are getting close to their deadline, which is a requirement to obtain a building permit, so they need to do those. The Dunkin' Donuts, once again, that one got very, very close, and then the engineer, we actually had some very good conversations with their engineer on finding solutions for their delivery vehicles, and then I've been sending them monthly emails, and they're like, well, we're working on it. So
Boy.
hopefully they,
We hope.
but, yeah.
What have we been working on that, about 5 years now?
Yeah, yeah. Is this the second or third time that they had to get approval? This is
I believe it's
Yeah.
3.
Yeah.
But we are working on Crowder Street, kind of, it should be coming to the ZBA. Remember those 2 homes that were sold as a package, and then one was demolished, and we're hoping for 4 units to go in there. And so we're working on a little setback issue that will require variance. But the building they're proposing is actually a very nice multi-tenant structure. So in the R2, it is zoned properly for it.
Okay.
And then the Ford and Merriman gas station, their last item before going to council will be going to the ZBA this month to obtain that, to ask for a 10-foot variance from that 40-foot setback requirement from the
West
residents on the
side,
west
then,
side.
yeah.
So they'll be coming for consideration this month.
Frankie's is coming along.
Last year, we talked about maintaining some kind of inventory of vacant commercial property so that we could have visibility into what's still hanging out there and whether there, I know maybe our powers are limited, but at least awareness, prompting the owners. Could we start off with, like, say, the top 10 vacant, like, have been vacant the longest or something like that so that the planning commission gets more visibility?
Maybe the largest.
Something, yeah,
Yeah.
just something that's,
So I will say that the Ordinance Enforcement Department, they have an individual that is dedicated to dealing with the vacant properties in the city, not only the residential, but the commercial. And she does a very good job of identifying them. And I will say, after the recent fire, there's even been more of a earnest effort to make sure that any vacant commercial structures are in compliance with the standards. The issue is the vacant property ordinance is focused on the exterior of a structure to make sure it's solid, doesn't have any openings, and the exterior of the property is maintained, so that way it doesn't cause a negative impact on adjacent businesses or value. Honestly, the best way to get those vacant buildings into greater compliance is have them become, the property owner obtain a white box C of O, because at that point, the building official and fire marshal go into the building, and we also ensure that the use permitted in the site does not include storage. So I say that because within the BSNA system that the city uses, all the properties are identified, can be identified, and that's why I can work with the building administrator to see if we can get that list of what's vacant commercial, and then also the different efforts going on. Because it's one of those things that, like, they use a variety of different tools, from like Google advertisement of businesses to walk-bys by the ordinance enforcement. And the ordinances technically have a specific, have a definition for identifying vacant properties, and, like, and part of that is like to say that the characteristics are such that a reasonable person can discern that there's no activity going on in the site.
would it be, I didn't mean to interrupt you, it
No,
would be
no.
appropriate to ask that person to give us a presentation? I mean, nothing extraordinary, just to give the planning commission a better sense of what's out there, what are the challenges, how might it influence the master plan?
Well, that's something I could present.
Yeah,
and
I'll look into that, too.
Maybe a conversation for now, just to see what that would look like. And
Okay.
As far as ordinances with the fires we're having, couldn't we amend an ordinance for the fire marshal to do a walkthrough on all properties, commercial, residential, or commercial, industrial, whether they're vacant or not, yearly?
So actually, the International Fire Code that the fire marshal utilizes allows him to go into any building at any point in time. And actually, it's even more of, that's actually their go-to initial investigation into questionable properties, because the building code technically, the building official can't go into a building unless there's an actual application. And actually, and for example, and even when it comes to site plans and special land uses, we've modified the applications to make sure that the planning commission and city staff can go in when someone approaches us, but building officials and other staff, we can't do that. The fire marshal actually already has that power. And so he does use that to go into properties when there's a, he makes a determination that there might be something questionable activity going on.
And he is going through all of all commercial, and I don't know the report and the level of it, but he goes through almost all buildings and is trying to do every building every year.
Occupied buildings or occupied?
Any building. Yeah. Mhm.
Do we have any kind of preliminary idea on what caused the fire on Middlebelt?
I don't know.
My initial indication was
They started something.
issue.
I got a pretty good idea myself.
Okay.
Did you have anything else, Kelly?
I do. There's a question where we're at with seeing the new amended master plan.
Yes, that's something that's
For
picking up
housing.
steam. We're going to make sure to have that in front of you very soon, so that way we can also target a public hearing date for that. So we can get comments. That's gonna- and then so the goal is to have that ready for adoption in May. And so that will be provided to you so you can have, make your edits.
And then my other question is, we've had a couple extensive talks about off-road residential parking. So let's see if we can get that on the agenda.
That will be on the February agenda.
I want to ask
Matt,
about,
did you have anything?
No, I think.
talking about vacant
okay.
lots. There's a house, a residential lot, 30148 Box Street.
Oh, yeah.
Roof is caved in. I don't know what happened to the property. It's been like that since I've moved on the street. I think there's a green sticker, probably condemned maybe or something.
What's the address again?
30148 Bach.
It's almost to Henry Ruff. I do know the property, and we are working on trying to condemn. One of the positives to us is that the former owner eventually did foreclose, and the bank took it back. And so the bank is a little more amiable to securing the site, and so we're working on that. So we do know that house. The squatter was evicted and is gone, the former owner.
Okay.
So I think that's a blessing to the neighbors, so.
Just east of Henry Ruff, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
on the north side.
Walk our dog by it every day, so
Yes.
every day it's like,
One with the tarp
when are
on the
they-
roof? for
Yes.
well, it's not on the roof
3 or
anymore.
4 years?
Mhm. Yep. Yeah.
And the fire code, the building code is very specific as to the notification requirements that the building official must take before they can, to start the vacant property acquisition and removal process. So it's a very extensive process because it is involved taking somebody's land away from them and then destroying the building, but that's because it's in the public interest to make sure that that these vacant properties are dealt with. But the building official has to, abide by the state law.
Do we know what's going on with the old Golden Feather restaurant?
It's still being renovated as a
Science,
child care
technology.
center still.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just that they're very diligent, and they've had a lot of
Setbacks.
put in front of them. They've had to deal with MDOT, they've had to deal with Wayne County with stormwater issues. The previous entity in that building paved over the stormwater drains, so they've had to deal with that. And actually, if you notice, you can kind of see that they've actually are getting much closer because they have already constructed now their required outdoor play area behind the building for the children. So they're advancing at
Slow but sure, huh?
Slow but sure, yeah.
The front facade also had to completely come off and be redone. I don't know if you noticed, but the front facade was quite damaged by termite infestation, and it required another engineering review and a structural review, which we completed, and it's back rebuilt. It was almost able to move it. So, so he's had a lot of challenges to overcome. So,
And last, is there any progress being made on the financing for the planned development?
we had a meeting recently with them, but they're still working on it. So,
Still
working on the financing portion
working with the county or?
with the county, correct, and the state.
All right, well, I guess that's it. So the next regular Planning Commission meeting is Thursday, February 12th, 2026. And I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Meeting's adjourned.
Matt, could you show me his absent and excused for February?